Hello! The Georgians, and sometimes the Victorians, like to gentrify their Tudor houses. This can sometimes be deceptive with your research. You may have what looks to be a grand and stylish Georgian red brick building, but it could be a facade. Underneath might be lurking a gorgeous timber-framed Tudor house. This splendid Georgian building has at its heart a massive and grand medieval timber-framed structure. The red brick front was put onto the building in 1750 by a wealthy local who wanted his house to be grand and impressive, befitting his status. This building, with its 19th century shopfront, hides a late 16th century Tudor hall house. When I was researching my book, Sudbury, Long Melford and Lavenham Through Time, this postcard from the early 1900s totally and utterly baffled me. I knew I was in the right place for the Bull Hotel, but I just couldn't find the building. This was bizarre. I've long known Long Melford's Bull Inn, with its very large and striking Tudor frontage. I'd first encountered the hotel when I went to a lovely wedding reception there in the late 90s. Additionally, I had stayed in the Bull several times in the years immediately before I wrote my book. But looking at my postcard showing the hotel from the early 1900s, I had a totally ditzy moment about it. I thought the photographer had incorrectly captioned it. It just didn't look like the Bull I knew and loved. So I walked up and down Long Melford's 3-mile-long Hall Street looking for this Georgian building. That was a bad research day. Pouring with rain, I was being totally ditzy, walking up and down Hall Street, and I ended up soaked through with sore feet. I just could not locate the building. Then I twigged I'd been looking at it all along, and it was hiding in plain sight. Of course, when trying to locate the building, I'd totally forgotten the Georgians' and Victorians' love for cladding beautiful Tudor timber-framed buildings with plaster or brick. The facade shown in my early 1900s postcard was placed onto the building in the 1820s. For over 100 years, the Bull Hotel had the appearance of a grand, square-fronted, symmetrical Georgian building, not a sprawling timber-framed Tudor structure. But the cladding was finally taken down in 1935, revealing its original beautiful timber-framed Tudor building. It's strange to think that our Victorian and Edwardian ancestors, if they'd visited Long Melford, would have seen the Bull Hotel as being a splendidly imposing Georgian building. Sometimes a building's very fabric was used to create new buildings. You just need to look at some of the farmhouses dotted next to Hadrian's Wall to instantly spot where the stone for those buildings came from. Another structure whose very fabric was used to build nearby houses was Walden Castle in Saffron Walden. Recent excavations by archaeologists discovered that most of the foundations of the castle are missing. They were looted and used by people for their houses. The reuse of Roman bricks in newer buildings was also common. Today, with our greater awareness of heritage and with many buildings having listed status, it seems remarkable to us that beautiful ancient buildings and their very fabric were used to make new buildings. Sometimes entire houses were moved around the countryside. Often this was to save the building from being demolished, or in some cases, taken to America. Here's a few examples. This house was in the process of being demolished in Lavenham, Suffolk. It was saved by a remarkable architect in 1908 and moved lock, stock and barrel to Walberswick, also in Suffolk. This next house was moved further afield, from Saffron Walden in Essex to West Grinstead in Sussex. It was in a prominent position in the town of Saffron Walden and had been gentrified and entirely enclosed in Victorian red brick. When it was moved to its new location in Sussex, the red brick was removed and its former glory of a Tudor timber-framed building was revealed. This next house was moved in the 1970s, this time a mere 200 or so yards up the hill and away from a newly built housing estate. It's Ballingdon Hall, a small village which was once in Essex, but now in Suffolk. It was obviously expensive to move houses around the countryside, whether you did it all in one go, such as Ballingdon Hall, or slowly, piece by piece. So this is not at all common, but certainly one to watch out and to determine if you own a wandering house. Along with houses moving around the countryside, county borders sometimes changed over time. For example, the small village of Ballingdon next to Sudbury was once in Essex, but now it's part of Sudbury, and the Suffolk-Essex border moved to accommodate this. There is a very good and simple reason why the village of Ballingdon left Essex to join forces with the Suffolk town of Sudbury. On the southwest side of the town of Sudbury is the bridge over the River Stour. This connects the Essex village of Ballingdon to the Suffolk town of Sudbury. The first documentary evidence of a wooden bridge was at the start of the 13th century, when tolls were collected on behalf of the Countess of Clare. But it is likely that a bridge existed here much further back in time. From 1549 until 1888, justices of the peace from the two counties, Essex and Suffolk, ordered the bridge's repairs, but each county only repaired and paid for their respective part of the bridge. This meant that the bridge could be in reasonable condition one side of the bridge, but lousy in the other county. Counties, then as now, hated paying for road repairs. In 1805, the entire bridge was pulled down and a new wooden one was built, with each county financing their own section. It was a ridiculous situation to have two counties financing one bridge. So in 1888, as part of the Local Government Act of that year, Ballingdon and the neighbouring hamlet of Brandon were incorporated into Sudbury, and thus the village of Ballingdon had seemingly jumped from Essex into Suffolk. For Essex, it was a wise financial decision to place the bridge in one county. They must have been jumping for joy not to be responsible for the bridge when it was built from scratch in 1910. It must have been very expensive for Suffolk. The bridge in this photograph is the very latest bridge to have been built only a few years ago and financed by Suffolk. Other counties too moved their borders. Of particular note are the new London boroughs, created from ancient towns that were once part of the original old counties of Essex or Surrey or Kent. Enjoy exploring and observing your home and uncovering its secret history. Don't forget to complete the worksheets in this module to record your discoveries. Watch all the videos for further information and to enhance your knowledge, and use the book list to discover resources to help you further.
Can walls really talk? Do you own or live in an old building full of character with hints of past lives? Have you recently renovated your home or bought an amazing holiday house in a picturesque village? Are you the latest proud owner of a long tradition of people who have enjoyed the delights of your beautiful property? Who built it and why? What were their names, their occupations, and how did they live their lives? What is your home's heritage? The past is all around us, and traces of it could be within your special home. From medieval and Tudor hall houses to Georgian and Victorian townhouses and red brick cottages. From repurposed schools, mills and pubs to Edwardian villas and modern day mansions. All homes have their secrets, often with their own enigmatic past. Your ownership is the latest in its long history. I'm Kate Cole. I'm a historian and I specialise in local history and genealogy. I've written 7 history books on a variety of topics. These include towns and villages across the east of England and a book on the First World War that uses eyewitness accounts of the conflict. I also write local history articles for magazines, present talks about social history, and I've been interviewed by various radio stations. I have a master's in local history from Cambridge University. I'm passionate about helping you unlock the past and learning about people, their homes, and their communities. I've written a unique online course, If Walls Could Talk, Uncover the Secret History of Your Home. It'll help you unlock your home's secrets and its past. Module by module, you'll learn how to research the history of your home and discover many of the whys and the wherefores of your home. By the end of the course, you'll be enthralled by your home's past. This course is for everyone, even if you live in a modern house that was built only a few years old. My own house was built at the turn of the millennium in the year 2000, yet it is on a site that has documented history dating back to the 16th century. And before that, the immediate area around my house was described in Domesday, William the Conqueror's Great Land Tax Survey, undertaken a mere 20 years after the Norman Conquest. Yes, in the story of my own home's case, a house built at the turn of one millennium is on land that has documented history stretching back to the start of the previous one. You'll learn the tools you need to trace your home's secret past and discover its passage through time. My unique course is for homes in England and Wales. Unfortunately, much as I'd love to, it doesn't cover Scotland, as landowning laws were different there. The course requires you to type into and complete worksheets, so you'll need a computer or a MacBook or an iPad. It's not really suitable if you only have a smartphone. You'll also require software such as Microsoft Word or Apple's equivalent Pages or other word processing software. You can start the course at any time that's convenient to you. There are 6 modules, with each module released to you once a fortnight. This gives 2 weeks to complete each module before moving on to the next. Each module has a unique system of worksheets and videos. The worksheets guarantee that your research is totally hands-on. Module 1 sets good, solid working foundations for your research, whilst the second module looks at the local environment. Module 3 helps you discover who lived in your house during times gone by. The next module looks at land ownership, suffrage, and taxation. Benjamin Franklin wrote in the 1780s, "In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes." And that is certainly true with regards to tracing the secret history of your home. Module 5 looks at buildings that had previous uses, for examples, pubs, mills, churches, workhouses and hospitals, and uncovers the records associated with your home's previous function. Finally, the last module takes a dip into court records and newspapers. Was your house or its occupants involved in a local scandal? If so, this module might help you uncover the story. You'll be very much involved in your own research throughout the course. The course is for everyone, from total newbies to historical research, or people who have already started their own research or have delved into their own family tree. Does a loved one in your family have a key birthday coming up, or about to celebrate an important wedding anniversary? Or is a loved one retiring and needs a new hobby to keep them busy? This course is the perfect gift to give to a loved one, or keep the course for yourself. My course, If Walls Could Talk, Uncover the Secret History of Your Home, is the perfect way to begin your journey of discovery